I'm still getting set up here.
I think we're good. Gentlemen, nephews, tap in. Tonight's conversation is one that a lot of men don't want to have, but every one of you needs to hear. She already made her decision. You just haven't accepted it yet. Hey, and I know this one stings because some of you right now, you're not confused. You're negotiating with your own reality. All right, you're replaying conversations. You're holding on to what she said. You're hoping if you just say the right thing, do the right thing, wait a little longer, somehow this whole thing's going to turn around for you. But let me give you some real game early tonight, nephews. When a woman is excited about you, you don't feel confused. You don't feel like you're chasing clarity. You don't feel like you're guessing. You certainly don't feel like you're slowly losing ground. That feeling that you have right now, that uncertainty, that pullback, that inconsistency, that's not a phase, nephews. That's the shift. And most men, they stay too long after it's already over. Not because they're weak, not because they don't have options, but because they're emotionally invested in what used to be. And honestly, they're loyal to a version of her that no longer exists. All right, and here's where things get dangerous, nephews, because rejection doesn't always come out loud. Sometimes it comes out quiet. It can come in slower replies. It could come in canceled plans. It could come in the whole, I've just been busy. Sometimes it'll manifest as, I need space, or I don't even know what I want right now. And that's what I call the slow rejection that most men don't recognize. She doesn't cut you off. She just stops choosing you.
Bruh.
All right, and look, You're stuck in this gray area, so your favorite uncles, we're here to help you out tonight. We're going to give you the game. We're going to start decoding some of this. We're going to try to fix it. And you got to understand something. We're talking about something tonight that a lot of men struggle with. When to walk away and why most of you don't. All right? And because walking away, it isn't hard, but nephew, sometimes accepting that it's over is hard. And walking away means that you have to let go of that potential. You got to let go of the memories. You certainly are letting go of the version of life you thought that you were building. And most men y'all would rather stay confused than face that kind of clarity. But here's the truth we're going to stand on tonight, nephews. You're not being rejected. You're being shown where you stand. And you got a decision to make as a man. All right? Do you keep negotiating or do you start moving with self-respect? So if you're dealing with an ex you can't let go of, if you're dealing with a woman sending you mixed signals, or if you're trying to figure out if you should stay or walk away, then nephews, this is your night. Call in, drop your questions in the chat, email Uncle Johnny. We're going to break this down and give you real direction on how to move forward, because this isn't about getting her back, nephews. This is about getting you back. My name is William. I'm your certified unk tonight. Johnny, go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody watching.
So I'm Johnny Dumbbell. Email is in the live chat. I'm a personal trainer and life coach here in beautiful Pittsburgh, where, by the way, our Pens had a must-win game tonight against the Islanders. And 2 minutes ago, we're up 8-3, so it looks like we're going to be leapfrogging them into second place. That's good news. Let's go, Pens. Anyway, here to share a little bit about my success, but mainly my failures. And when it comes to the things that I did when I was a young man like you one time. Believe it or not, we were your age. It was ages ago. But we're here to teach you about our failures when it comes to things like self-respect, self-confidence, self-improvement, women, relationships, personal growth. If you're contemplating doing something, do me a favor. If that thing that you're thinking about doing doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you, but you feel like you should do it anyway, it sounds counterintuitive, stupid, reckless, expensive. Just do us a favor. Talk to us first. Leave it in the live chat. Shoot us an email. You have no excuse if you see this disclaimer to not talk to us first, because chances are one of us has probably done what you're thinking of doing and found out the hard way why you don't do it. Now, we are here to teach you to avoid making the mistake of simping. Remember, no matter what they say online about simps, simps are volunteers, not victims. All right? Now, we've got some great stories we can tell you, and we've got great stories that other members of the family could tell you. We're not proud of our poor decisions. We're proud of the men that we become on the other end of the consequences of those poor decisions. But see, we're here to talk about those consequences to you up front. Why? Well, it's simple. We screwed up so you don't have to. Let's go.
All right, nephews, call in with your questions. We got our phone lines open. We're going to get into some of the write-in questions. You're also welcome to put your questions in the chat. I'll be putting Uncle Johnny's email up through the show tonight, so write him with your questions. We're here for you, nephews. What you need. All right, Johnny, what do we got tonight? Let's get started.
So we got question one from Devin. And I'm pretty sure it's Devin, not Devon. Devin says, I need advice concerning me and my ex. They're both 18 years old. Now, before I even get into this message, I just want to say, I got to tell you, I wish when I was 18 years old, I would have had the wherewithal to ask somebody who probably might know a little bit more than I did instead of deciding to wing it and figure that I can beat the odds. So I got to applaud our young man. He's 18 years old and he's already reaching out. Hey, he wants to set the tone for the rest of his adult life. I'm good with that. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? You're right, Johnny. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Writing in. How can we help him, Johnny? How can we be of service tonight?
Well, Devin, I love you, man. But for one, we can work on our grammar a little bit. But we're going to decipher what this says. So my ex and I broke up in August, after about a year and a half for a long relationship. We broke up, or we've been on and off since then, aka hot and cold. And we've been intimate a few times during this period, especially after I transferred to the same college as her. However, she has been very push-pull. Devin, we call that hot cold, and I'll explain why that is too. One day she'd be happy to see me and affectionate. The next she'd say, we're just friends, and pull away at the thought of just a hug. I recently found out she's been in a relationship for a few weeks now. She lied to my face saying I didn't have to worry about anyone else and promising me she'd tell me if she moved on. Well, hey, I mean, if she promised, you know. I previously told her I couldn't stay friends if she moved on because I couldn't handle that emotionally. Nothing like, displaying your weakness for her. But she still had it in her head that we'd still at least be, or that we'd still be best friends. I'm confused on if I should move on or stick around. What would either of you do? Devin, hot plus cold equals lukewarm. And that's what's happening to you. But the problem with you is you're not going through the lukewarm center. You're going from all the way up to that ultimate high, all the way down to that lowest low, sometimes, as you say, in the course of several hours. Now, at your youth, I would expect a lot of situations like this to arise. But the problem is, with that youth comes the lack of understanding of what's actually happening in front of you. So she's hot and cold. Sometimes she wants you. Sometimes she wants you to go away. And you've been intimate a few times. Uncle Bill, does it sound to me like he's kind of a convenience when there's nothing else to do?
Oh, Johnny, I got it. I like I said, shout out to you for writing it, nephew. We owe you the truth, so dude, I'm gonna have to give you some tough love first. Devin, it's over. It's over, nephew.
It's over.
Not because she said it clearly. I'd say because her behavior did.
Yeah.
All right, look, if she's being intimate with you, nephew, while dating someone else, while lying to you, while trying to keep you as a best friend, that's not confusion, sir. That is access without commitment. And here's the part that stings. You, sir, are allowing it.
Oh, yeah.
Here, let me give you a little bit. Let's get into this a little bit. You told her, I can't be friends if you move on.
Bruh.
And she
I don't care about
on.
that. He added it, I can't take it emotionally. You don't tell her that.
He stayed. And Johnny, this is the exact moment where men start to lose leverage.
Yeah.
All right. Because now she knows that your standards are negotiable. So you're going to have nephew. All right. Let me slow down a little second here. Here's what's really happening. You're not confused about her. You're confused about letting go of that history you had with her, that intimacy you had with her, even that familiarity, that bond that forms with her. And she's benefiting from that. She gets emotional comfort from you. She is getting physical access to you. She is getting zero accountability while you get anxiety, you get inconsistency, and nephew, you get disrespect.
Horribly.
And the lesson here, all right, nephew, this is the important part of your question here. If she can have you without choosing you, she will. All right. What you need to do now, I want to give you some clear direction. I want to give you the game on how to move forward. No more intimacy. No more friendship. Nephew, no more access. Not to punish her, but you got to understand something, sir. You got to protect yourself, okay? You don't need closure from her. Her behavior already gave you that closure, nephew, okay? And let me give you a little bit of compassion here because, nephew, I want to keep you grounded. All right. I understand that you loved this woman and that part of your life is real, but love without structure becomes self-destruction. You don't have to hate her, but you do have to remove access to your life.
Yeah.
That's the game right there. Don't give this woman access to your life anymore, nephew. And it look,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, you're her backup plan, man. You're what she goes back to when she doesn't get the dopamine rush from the guy she's chasing. She'll fall back on the guy that is clearly chasing her. And here at Ask Your Favorite Uncles, we don't chase. All right, we don't even chase our whiskey. All right, we're not chasing this. So the thing of it is that you're going push pull, hot and cold. And I mean, again, I know you're young. And this is pretty common amongst people your age. Okay. Now, you want the advanced game on this kind of thing? Look, like Uncle Bill said, quit playing the game. Stop making yourself available. This is going to continue for as long as you allow it to happen. She's going to continue to confuse you because for as long as you're wondering where you stand, you're going to be intrigued enough to stick around. And what's happening here is she is pulling you back in every time you even have a foot out the door, which I got to tell you, I don't even think you've come close to yet. No. Now, let's go ahead and say what this is, man. She's a good piece of peach, and you don't want to let it go. All right, you're 18 years old. She's a good piece. You've had fun. You've had sex. I'll bet you've had more since you broke up than you have when you were together in this case. Okay. And I know that's something you don't want to let go of, and you certainly don't want to think about her giving somebody else the same thing she's been giving you. All right. But the fact of the matter is if you're only seeing her every few weeks and getting it on, chances are that's probably happened if it isn't currently happening. And even if it isn't, the point is she wants to have the convenience, not the commitment. And if that's the way it's going to be, then the thing is you guys don't need to be committed to each other. Now, here's the thing. If you can manage to just keep it like a friends with benefits situation, and you can actually stop yourself from catching feelings every time you touch her, then I would say, hey, let's go ahead and give it a shot. But I got to tell you, it sounds to me like you're a little too overly emotionally invested. And it's pretty hard to shift back from that if that's the case. So you might have to, make a clean break, go no contact here. But I can tell you one thing. Again, hot and cold is lukewarm at best. It's not going to work, man.
Nephew, I can tell you from my own personal experience that you could love a woman's soul, but not mess with her as a person.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, should we keep beating him up or you want to move on tonight? Nephews, call in with your questions. TikTok, we live over on YouTube. If you're trying to get the rest of the panel, let's go, Johnny. Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, Devin, last bit of advice I'm just going to say, if you're not sure and she's not sure and nobody's sure, then the answer is definitely not yes. And I would say go ahead and assume that it's no from there. So we got question number 2 from AJ. AJ and his girl are 19. All right. So he says, my girlfriend broke up with me.
I don't mean to interrupt you, sir, but shout out to the nephews for writing in, man. That's why we do this. It makes me so happy to see you young men writing in and just seeking some answers on your questions.
Yeah, just like getting furniture from IKEA. You follow the directions, as tedious as the task might be, you'll get it done. So he says, my girlfriend broke up with me after I accidentally triggered a trauma of hers. So we've been together for 3.5 years, and we've been living together for 8 months. To give some background, my girlfriend has struggled with communication regarding our relationship or even her inner thoughts. It's not always, but it happens often, and her emotions can build up and become defensive if we have a discussion. Is this starting to sound familiar, Uncle Bill? We both agreed that we needed to do better at communicating our feelings and thoughts. Doesn't always have to be right away, but after a day or two is best. Recently, she had upset me because she discussed that she was thinking of moving out to be more independent, but still be together. I was very hurt and upset because we had been living together for some time and adopted pets, and had been talking about building a future together. So it felt like she was abandoning our life together. That's true. She should have to pay puppy support, I think. I told her it upset me, and around the same time, I accidentally burned myself and mistakenly blamed her for it. I don't know how that works, but immediately afterwards, I realized that I shouldn't have blamed her and apologized and made a joke, but it embarrassed her. After about a day of some space, we talked. Both she and I apologized to each other for the way we made each other feel. I said sorry for embarrassing her and said I would be more intentional. I think he means intuitive. She said she was sorry for making me feel abandoned. After that conversation, it was great. We were doing okay. Then about 2 days later, she completely switched. She went silent and emotionally and physically disconnected. I valued her space, so I wasn't pushy at first. But every day for about 5 days, I would ask, is something going on? And she would meet me with, I'm fine. I have nothing to say to you. Young men, Exhibit A. Later on the 5th day of this, because God forbid you bring up the elephant in the room. I came to her and sat in front of her sat in front of her on the couch and said that I really needed her to talk to me. She told me no, and that I should know what's wrong, and she has nothing to say to me. It eventually got to the point where she kept dismissing me, telling me to go away in a disdainful way. All right, vocabulary, buddy. And then I yelled at her, and I'm normally well-regulated, but for some reason this time I was really upset. I yelled at her and told her I needed her to talk to me, and it's been affecting our way of communication by her dismissing me and pushing me away. She then proceeded to say, "Get out of my face, I swear to God." So I said, "What? I mean, what are you going to do to me?" And because I thought she was going to hit me. Immediately after that argument, I felt terrible and apologized the next day for being really upset, and that I hope she can talk to me soon. 3 days later, she left the apartment without saying a word, in silence, and left for a couple of days. We then talked, and she said she was done with our relationship. She expressed that my yelling and by me sitting in front of her made her feel very vulnerable and reminded her of past traumas with her mom's abusive relationships. I told her I was sorry I made her feel that way, that I knew I was wrong to react that way. Ever since, she has completely ignored me and has told me that nothing I say will change her mind, and that she doesn't think that she can get past this, and feels like she would be disrespecting herself if she tries again with me. Of course, I've tried to reconcile, but now I'm just trying to give her space. I would give her a galaxy, man. I know what I did was wrong, but I've never had a pattern of yelling or being really upset like that. I recognize that this is the first time in our relationship where I felt completely unseen, unheard, and dismissed. And I didn't know how to react, and she never expected me to react to her in that way. I didn't mean to make her feel that way. I was just so upset that she kept pushing me away and expecting me to just know what was not okay. It really affected me, and because she met me with such an attitude for just wanting to talk to her about feelings, set me off. You know, I got to tell you, this does kind of this happened 2 weeks ago, and we've been broken up for about a week now. I'd also like to add that she said she wanted to move out. But when she said she wanted to move out, she meant when our lease ends in 6 months. Okay, Uncle Bill. He thinks that she is leaving him because he raised his voice once because he wanted her to talk to him about a problem that he hasn't described. Which kind of makes me wonder if he even knows, because it doesn't sound like he does. This could go one of two ways. Either our boy is dense, or this girl's doing a technique that I've seen happen a lot of times is, okay, I need an out. You know, I got to kind of put some space in between him and me and, figure out how to create a rift. I'm not sure which way this is. I don't know either one of them, but this seems like a relationship that was probably over the minute they moved in.
All right. AJ, you made a mistake. You lost control. You yelled. You escalated it. You broke your frame. And first, before we move on, you need to own that.
Bruh.
All right, but I don't think you should take 100% of the blame here, because that's actually not what happened here.
No.
I don't, Johnny, I really don't think his relationship ended because of one argument.
No,
it rarely does. All right, it ends because sometimes one of you can struggle with communication. It ends because some women avoid conflict extensively. It ends because she's going to start silently building resentment. And Johnny, that's what happened here. And when that pressure hits, a lot of women shut down completely. And that's emotional avoidance.
Yeah, I mean,
well, go ahead, Johnny.
I guess my only thing is, when she flips as suddenly as she flipped here, did she, or was this an issue that was months old, like you said? But here's the thing. He kind of glosses this over a little bit. After 3 days, she left the apartment without saying anything and left in silence for a couple of days. Radio silent for a couple of days. Comes back and says she's done with the relationship. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and imply anything, but she goes away. She never explains where she was, doesn't really bother to get into that. And all of a sudden, she's even more resolved to walk away than she was before. I'm going to say this is there's a chance those couple of days could have been part of her monkey branching on to the next one. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that this was done before she left. This was done before you yelled. This was done when she decided she was ready to move on and began looking for this out. And I don't think she's doing it on purpose. I don't think she's trying to gaslight you necessarily. Maybe, but I don't know that I think that. I think that it's kind of a thing where she wants as clean a break as possible. And that means that either you guys will both have to mutually agree, or since she knows that by your behavior, it definitely doesn't seem like you're ready to let this go, she's going to have to push as much onto you and make you think this is your fault as possible. And hey, like I said, I don't know. It might be. But the fact of the matter is, you have not, and I don't just mean the time you raised your voice and lost control. I'm talking about you have lost the edge in this relationship. You have not led. And she has not felt comfortable following. And this is why she is going off on her own, because she can lead better than she can lead herself better than you can lead. You displayed that lack of strength. It's not even necessarily weakness. It's just the lack of strength that she is biologically, intellectually looking for. You didn't have it, man.
All right.
And you're young, man. You're young. This is going to be something you're going to have to learn as you learn yourself, as you grow. But I can promise you that was a good, healthy portion of what happened here.
All right. Johnny, I really think his main mistake here is trying to force communication from a woman who refused it. That's where you lose frame, nephew. Yeah. When she would draw, you chased, asking every day about this woman, man, trying to fix it, needing answers.
Bruh.
All right. So when all that built up, bro, you exploded. All right. And that's a pattern we see with some men. Suppression equals frustration, which equals emotional reaction.
He angrily begged.
All right, you can't build a relationship with somebody who won't communicate. Let me say that again for everybody, in case you're sitting in the back and you missed it. You cannot build a relationship with somebody who won't communicate. And more importantly, look, I'll give you a little bit more game on this. You can't regulate somebody else's trauma for them. So what she's doing, just not ending the relationship. Okay, I would say, Johnny, she's probably protecting her identity here. And like she's saying, if I stay, I'm disrespecting myself. Didn't she say that? Yeah,
but I mean, and she that may be true, or that may be a cop out.
No, that means she mentally checked out, brother. She closed that door. She's gone.
Not only that, but she's already so far along that she's already probably moved on to somebody else preemptively,
or
at least preliminarily. But that's not even the issue. The issue is he's fighting for it. Yeah.
What do you need? Because we need to give him some clear direction. And worrying about what some woman who doesn't want to be with him is doing isn't going to give him any direction in his life.
Well, I mean, what needs to happen here is you have to be able to, first of all, accept that this is done. Now, the problem is that you're going to be accepting that this is done before you're going to be accepting your own reality before you've kind of learned to heal and accept yourself for who you actually are, to the point that you love who you are. So this is going to be an uphill battle for you. You know, this is going to be a situation where, okay, this is over. This is done with. There's no respect there. Doesn't matter what it is. You are going to have to start over from scratch on your own. I'm assuming you're staying in the apartment. I don't know. But you know, I'm not gonna give you the whole company line until you pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Thursday nights when we talk about our Bumble profile review, which by the way is at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time every Thursday night.
Thanks for the plug, John.
Yep. You know, but we talk all the time about, you know, having the self-confidence to work on yourself, to improve yourself, and you know, every day kind of like yourself a little bit more as a result. And I think that before you go moving on to any other kind of relationship, I really want you to set some goals for who you want to be. You know, it's obviously you're young. It may take you a little bit of time to become established in what it is you want to do, which you may not have discovered yet. But you're doing the thing that a lot of guys your age do. And, you know, my generation was no different. Is you moved out on your own, you're trying to kind of make your way, and you found out it wasn't quite as easy as you thought, but you also found out it wasn't impossible. But the problem is you were so eager to do that, maybe you haven't really found where you want to be in life. You haven't found your direction, like Uncle Bill said. So what you want to be able to do here is, I think you need to sit down and set some short and long-term goals. I think that's going to keep you occupied enough that you should be giving those thoughts. You should be giving time to those thoughts before you're giving time to the thought of something that, frankly, number one, you lost, and number two, was probably more dead weight than benefit anyway. This way, you've got a clear mind. You've got no one who's going to be relying on you, hanging on your coattails, holding you back, nothing like that. You are responsible for your plans, your goals, your actions over the next several weeks, months, years. And I really want you to kind of make sure that you have an idea of what that direction is going to be, because then you'll have a journey. Then you can vet the right people in and out of your life. And then maybe, just maybe, if you do the choosing, you can find somebody who will be your co-pilot on that journey. Until then, hey man, keep working on yourself. I'm going to send you a copy of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. I expect to hear back from you. Get it going, and let that be the first step on your stairway to success. Let's go.
All right, nephew. Now, let me give you a little bit of game as well on this, on what you need to do right now in this very moment. You need to stop trying to convince this woman. You need to stop explaining yourself. And most importantly, sir, stop chasing reconciliation. It's not going to happen. Give her full space. Hey, I love it how Johnny says, how do you say that exactly? You would give her so much time and space that what?
That when if she ever does reach back out and text you, you should be able to look at your phone and be like, oh, wow, sorry, new phone. But you should be able to reply, sorry, new phone. Who is this?
All right. Now, nephew, I don't think you're a bad guy, but you did hit a moment where you felt unheard, dismissed, and emotionally isolated. And that's the real part that we need to work on here, because your reaction is still going to cost you moving forward with other women. So the growth for you here is learning how to regulate yourself under pressure. Don't chase silence. And you got to understand something. Do this for me, nephew. Never beg for communication again.
Don't beg at all.
Now, if you want, I'll give you some no contact game here, because look, Johnny's right, and I hate to be the no contact guys, AJ, but you really need to hear this. No contact, it's not a strategy to get the woman back. No contact is acceptance. So if you go into no contact thinking she's going to miss me, she's going to come back, this will fix it, then you've already lost. The mindset is she made her decision. I respect it and I move accordingly. Okay, so you need a clean break if you're going to go no contact. That means no kind of gray area. That means no texting, no checking in, no reacting to her silence, no sending emotional paragraphs, and no trying to explain yourself ever again. All right, you already apologized. I'm pretty sure you already took accountability for this.
And for her.
You tried to communicate. So, nephew, there is nothing left to say. Anything now is you chasing her, pulling away harder. All right, this is important too, nephew. You don't negotiate her decision. And this is where a lot of men fail. They start thinking, if I explain it a little bit better, maybe she understands me. Or where you're going to make a real big mistake is if I show her I've changed. No, nephew. Attraction and trust don't rebuild under pressure. All right, every attempt to convince her right now, it makes you look reactive. It reinforces her decision, and really it puts you beneath her emotionally. And
right there, she's not going to follow a lead in that direction.
I need you to understand what what no contact does, not to her, but to you, because it forces you to sit with that loss. It forces you to process the mistakes that you've made. It forces you to rebuild emotional control in your life. And nephew, it forces you to detach from needing her validation. And this is where men either grow or start to spiral. And you know what? You need to expect her to test you. She reaches out, but it's I'll tell you what it won't look like, nephew. It's not going to look like, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I was wrong, I want to fix this. That's not how women move. It's going to look like a casual message. It's going to look like a random check-in. It's going to look like indirect energy. You might even get a notification that she's been checking your social media. Nephew, this is a temperature check. And if this happens, you stay calm. You certainly don't overinvest. And you don't jump into any kind of relationship talk. You match energy and nothing more. And I wouldn't even do that. You got to understand the thing with no contact, and this is the part that most men avoid, Johnny. There's a chance this woman doesn't come back. Really, nephew, she might not. And you need to be ready for that, because the real win here is not getting her back. It's becoming the man who never ends up in this position again.
Yeah.
And what you should be doing during no contact, sir, allow your certified unc here to break this down for you, because this is where real game lives, Johnny. You need to fix your emotional regulation. No more breaking under pressure. Learn how to disengage from these women instead of escalating. And nephew, this part's really important. Write this down. You need to build a life that's not centered around one person. And like I said, I'm going to say it again because this part matters. Stop chasing communication from people who avoid it. No contact isn't about making her miss you. It's about reminding yourself who you are without her. Now, look, AJ, you made a mistake. You messed up. But what ends relationships isn't just mistakes. It's how a man behaves after he made the mistake. Yeah. And right now, sir, your power is restraint. It's silence. It's discipline. And nephew, it's self-respect. Now, look, if you need to learn more about no contact, I got some good videos on my YouTube channel. Johnny does too. Reach out to us. We'll help you with this. Nephews, we are here to help you. Write in with your questions. Put them in the chat. Email Uncle Johnny. We want to help you out.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, talk to us before you do anything stupid. I'm just glad this guy didn't like start playing guitar outside our bedroom window with like 4 dozen roses. Because I mean, you know, so I'm just glad he didn't go that far. All right. So yeah, once again, yeah, like I said, we're sending you a copy of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. Thanks for writing in, man. Love you to death, nephew. And like I say, love and respect yourself, and everyone else will follow. Yep.
Hey, TikTok, y'all can call in too. This show is for everybody.
It is. It is. All right, so we got question 3 from Darren. Darren says, at what point do you give up on somebody that is too busy to go out with you? So he says, I connected with a cool woman on Hinge 2 weeks ago. We exchanged numbers and talked briefly on the phone the first night. Now, since then, I've asked her a couple of times if she wanted to go out, but she said she was busy both times. I take that at face value. She's good about responding to texts. I only text her up once or twice a week, and I always initiate it. My feeling is that she likes me enough to keep in contact with me, but not enough to want to take the next step. But I could be dead wrong. Perhaps this is more common than I realize. I haven't dated a woman in years. I haven't dated as a middle-aged male. So I guess he's more of a cousin than a nephew. She is also middle-aged. She's also divorced for whatever it's worth. Anyway, do you guys have any advice on this one? Yeah, number 1, get off Hinge and try Bumble. I think it's a little easier to connect. I think now I haven't really used Hinge, so maybe I'm wrong.
All right.
Yeah, I don't really know a
Johnny,
lot
can I
about
take
Hinge.
this one, please? Please,
Yeah, go
Johnny,
for it.
allow me to take this one, okay? Because I'm going to be clean and direct with you, sir. Darren, she's not that busy. She's just not that interested.
That's it, man.
That's it. That's all right.
Like a
You've
woman
asked
who's
her out
interested will move
multiple-
heaven and earth as well as her schedule for the month to meet up with you.
You've asked her out multiple times. She's declined both times. You still initiate all the contact. That's not dating, sir. That's maintaining a connection that she's not investing in.
Well, Bill, he says he texts her once or twice a week. How many fucking weeks have you been texting this girl?
Now, look, nephews. Now, texting a woman once or twice a week, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah,
Because
texting her for 6 weeks is.
when you're you should not be investing a bunch of time into these women. You should be texting them like, hey, when are we getting together? And that should be it. You need to be a man of mystery. And when you start texting these women all the time and telling them every single thing about your life, they figure you out. They're like the sorting hat from Harry Potter, and they're figuring out what house they're gonna put you in.
They are the Rain Man, and they just counted into your deck.
All right, look.
If you
Johnny,
know, you know.
Our nephew here is investing in women that are in low maintenance mode. Okay. And that's it. She responds, but she doesn't move anything forward. That, sir, is low interest maintenance mode. She
That's
keeps
exactly
you
it, man.
entertained, available, and she keeps you as an option, nephew, without ever trying to commit time to you.
Yeah, Darren, if you keep talking to this girl, I have a prediction for you. Everybody wants to bet on March Madness. No, I'm going to bet on the next time if she ever actually does go out on a date with you, it'll be on a Thursday at 5 p.m. You'll drop her off by 7. Okay, and you'll probably pick up the tab. Otherwise, this is a situation where you're on her roster, you're in her orbit. But yeah, texting her once or twice a week. I mean, you're averaging it out by the week, which right there tells you that you've been texting and BSing for too long.
Well, hold on, Johnny. One second here. I apologize. I'm trying to do a bunch of things at once all the time. All right. So we talk about this all the time, Johnny. This is a pretty common question about low interest women who don't want to put that much time or effort into it. And you're right. We see this with a lot of the dating profiles on Thursday. But now, I need you to understand, when a woman is interested in you, she makes time for you. She doesn't make excuses. You don't get delays. You certainly don't get any maybe later. What you get is her time. Now, where's where you're going wrong? You're treating these text messages like it's some kind of progress here. It's not. Texting is okay. Texting is interest, but meeting, nephew, that's investment. And she hasn't invested in you. Now, what you need to do now, and I'm going to give you the game here, because I appreciate you right now. I really do.
Yeah,
I think you should ask one final time, like a man. That means be specific, be direct. Don't beat around the bush. And if she declines again, if she avoids it, you walk. That's it. No more texting, no more initiating. You don't need to figure her out. You just read the pattern, sir.
Yeah,
Now,
you're not required to be your sounding board, man.
You said you haven't dated in years. So you're trying to be patient, respectful, measured. Hey, I get that. That's good. But don't
the book says to
confuse
do that,
patience with tolerating low interest. All right. So really, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, this is we saw a lot of hot cold tonight in a couple of these stories here, and this is the thing, guys. Women are not confusing once you bottom line their actions. When you sit there and say, and they're not trying to be confusing. They're not saying, hey, how can I screw this guy's head? I guarantee you they're not saying that on purpose here, at least not in these situations. And so remember, they're not dragging you around, they're not leading you on, but they are telling you who they are with their either action or inaction. So what you're not doing here, Darren, is you're not sitting there going, she said this or she did or didn't do that. Does that indicate that she would be interested or that she would not be interested? Which side do you think that leans to more? Again, if she's interested, she might be busy, but she can move a few things around. If she's interested, you wouldn't be talking about how many times you texted her on average per week before trying to ask her out on a date. Here's the thing. If you are sitting here telling us that you keep asking her out on a date, well, how do you say? I've asked her a couple of times if she wanted to go out. Why are you asking more than once? You're getting a no. If you're getting an I can't make it and not getting a counter offer on a date and a time, it's simple. She is not into you, dude.
Bruh.
I hate to tell you.
All right.
Asking her a couple of times, that's one time too many.
Nephew, let me give you a little bit of game here. You said you hadn't been dating in years, so I'm going to tell you something that most men on the internet aren't going to tell you. And that's why women actually invest their time into men that they're attracted to. So let me simplify this for you. So I don't want you to overthink it, nephew, okay? Women don't show attraction through long explanations. They show it through investment. And the first form of investment is time. All right. People make time for what they value. It's that simple. Not for what they kind of like. They don't make time for what they're unsure about. Women certainly aren't out here making time for you that you guys that they're keeping on the side.
No.
They make time for what they value. And here's what attraction should look like in real life to you. When a woman is genuinely attracted to you, she makes herself available to you. She accepts your dates. She even helps coordinate plans. The woman responds by matching your energy. It's not an obligation thing. She creates opportunities for you to see her again, even if she is busy.
She puts emojis in the text messages.
Yeah, and she doesn't block access. These women will adjust, nephew, to make it happen. Now, what you're experiencing instead, and I understand this, okay? You're getting responses, you're getting conversations, you're getting a certain level of politeness, but you're not getting time. You're not getting effort. You're not getting presence. And nephew, that is not attraction. That's low-level interest at best, or even maybe a form of passive attention.
Well, not only that, you're making her effort for her, because the thing that you're doing here is you're making an effort, she's not responding. So now you're making more effort, and she's still not responding. So now you're making your share and her share of the effort, and she's still not responding.
But let's talk about the effort he's putting in for a minute, Johnny, because texting is easy. It's low effort, it's low risk, it's low investment, but meeting you in person, that requires time carved out. That requires energy given. That requires intention shown. And that's why time is the real currency. If she's attracted, she moves towards you. If she's not, she keeps you at a distance. And distance doesn't always look like silence. Sometimes it looks like I'm busy. Sometimes that distance looks like maybe next week. Sometimes that distance looks like, oh, let's see, while still texting you just enough to keep you around. And look, I'll tell you why women do this. And no bitterness, just truth. It's not because they're evil. It's because they're unsure of you.
Yep.
Okay?
Yes,
they like
natural
attention.
defense.
Hey, nephew, maybe you didn't notice because you haven't been dating in a while, but women, they like attention. And something else they like doing is keeping their options open. Okay? And they don't, especially if they don't feel enough attraction to you to invest their time, so they maintain you without choosing you. And here's the shift that I need you to make, nephew. Stop asking, does she like me? And start asking, is she investing in me? Because attraction without investment isn't real attraction. Now, look, you've already asked her out. You've made your interest in this woman clear. Now it's real simple for you. If she's interested, she's going to make time. If she doesn't, the nephew, you got a decision to make. One not based on your hope, but one based on her behavior. You don't measure attraction by what she says. You measure it by what she makes time for. And right now, she's not making time for you, sir. And that's the only answer you need.
Bruh.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, man. Nobody's going to come right out. She's not going to come right out and say, hey, not really into you, but I just really wanted you to hang around and be around to text me when I'm bored or lonely or, want a free dinner. She's not going to tell you that. She probably doesn't even know that. She's not thinking it. It doesn't matter what she's thinking. It doesn't matter her motives. The fact of the matter is, again, you are not going to be able to chase low effort with higher effort. It doesn't work that way, man. I hate to say it, but this is cooked, and I really think that you're going to need to, like I say, develop your own program, develop your own preferences, and make sure that you are vetting these girls who, are not cutting it for your program and are not fitting the kind of communication you're looking for. Because if this communication that she was giving you was okay, if it was adequate, you wouldn't have felt the need to write us in the first place. It's obviously not. We're telling you what she doesn't want to tell you is that you're a placeholder, you're a conversation holder. That's it. This is, but to her, okay, what I'm telling you is continue your search. Stop investing time in something that there's no return on.
Gentlemen, nephews, before we get out of here tonight, I need all of you to hear this clearly. Every man that wrote in tonight, different situations, different details, they all had the same truth that ran through all of it. The women in their life already made their decision. And where men get stuck, it's not in the rejection, it's in the refusal to accept it. Look at the first guy, Devin. He was trying to hold on to a woman that had already moved on. And Johnny, we see this constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not every week, but probably every other week. And the next guy who wrote in, AJ, he was trying to fix something where the woman had already walked away from it. And
Yep.
Darren was waiting for something that was never being offered. And that's where most men lose months, sometimes years of their life. And it's not because they're not good enough. It's because they keep showing up where they're no longer being chosen.
Yeah.
All right, so let me give you something to take with you tonight. Confusion is not a challenge, it's an answer. All right, when it's right, you feel it. When it's right, nephews, you see it. When it's right, it's consistent. When it's not, it's unclear. When it's not right for you, it slowly drains you. And it is inconsistent. And instead of accepting that, most men start negotiating. They start overthinking. They start over-texting. They start overstaying. Hope and effort is going to fix what interest has already ended. And here's the part, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Here's the part a lot of you men don't want to face. Walking away doesn't require strength. Accepting that it's over does. Let me tell you something else. Walking away means letting go of the future that you imagined with that woman. And that's not an easy thing to do. Letting go means that there's a version of her that you fell for, you're not going to have in your life anymore. And letting go, you got to let go of the role you thought you had when you were with her. And all of that's really heavy. It's hard to do. But staying is even worse. It costs you time. It costs you your peace. And I promise you, it's going to cost each and every one of you your self-respect.
Dignity all the way,
If you take nothing else from tonight, I want you to take this. You don't need more clarity. You need more honesty with yourself. Because once you stop lying to yourself, you're going to start seeing all kinds of stuff. You're going to see that everything changes. That's when you stop chasing, stop negotiating, stop settling, and start moving like a man that knows his value. So if you're dealing with this right now, an ex, mixed signals, somebody pulling away from you, this is your moment, nephew, not to fight for it, but to decide if it's even worth fighting for. Look, we appreciate everybody who wrote in tonight. Call into the next stream. Drop your questions in the chat. Email Uncle Johnny. We're building this with you because this platform, it's not about blaming women. It's about building men. And remember, you're not confused. You're avoiding what's clear. And we're here to help you face it. We're here to help you accept it. We're here to help you move accordingly. Now, nephews, go forth and conquer. Is there anything you want to add tonight, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm heading to bed here just a little bit. I got some early morning clients to take care of, people that are reaching their goals with a plan and making it more than just a wish, making it a dream come true. But between now and the next time we see you on Thursday nights, remember, we're not going to be able to be there and help bail you out of jail. So keep the drugs and alcohol to a minimum. But if you do drink, don't drive. And if you do drive, don't park, because accidents cause people. Good night.
God bless the real nephews. We appreciate you.